So, in this episode, we are going to fill up your grocery cart. So, grab your pen and paper and let's make out that shopping list. Let's go. Welcome to the Overweighted Podcast, where we get real about the struggles of being obese and needing to lose a whole lot of weight. My name's Malaika. I'm your host, weight loss mentor and coach. Join me on my personal weight loss journey to lose about 200 pounds, and as I share my very real experiences, plus some simple, successful, and sustainable weight loss tips and mindset shifts so that we can mark lose weight off of our to-do list for good. So we are in part 4 of our series, How to Lose Weight in 90 Days and Keep It Off. I hope that this series has really been helpful for you. We still have about 8 more parts to go because this is a 90-day series. So there's lots more information that I want to give you. And like I said in the beginning, I want you to be able to have this information so that you can basically coach yourself if you're not able to join me in Transformation Tribe, or if you can't do one-on-one coaching with me. I want you to still be able to have the tools that you need to be able to lose weight successfully and to keep it off. So in this episode, we are going to basically walk around the grocery store. Well, mentally, we are going to walk around the grocery store, and I want to give you some options that will be better for you as far as what you're putting in your cart and what you're taking home. Because if you remember in the last episode where we talked about making it easier for you to succeed on your weight loss journey, one of the things that I mentioned was changing what's coming into the house. So that's what this episode is going to help you do. First off, I want to say, if you know me or if you've heard other episodes from me, I am not about the food restriction or cutting out food groups kind of life. I'm not about that life. So I am not going to tell you to not eat the foods that you love. But I do want you to focus on building healthier habits. And so I am going to give you suggestions on better options that you could choose when you're at the store. So I'm not going to tell you not to grab the piece of cake at the bakery. If that's what you want to do and you're craving the cake, then have the piece of cake. But I am going to suggest that maybe you have brown rice instead of white rice. And it's not about trying to change everything at once. Just choose one thing at a time to change and implement. And then by stacking those healthier habits, you are going to have the success that you want to have on your weight loss journey. Okay? So like I said, I am going to actually mentally walk you around the grocery store, at least my grocery store, the way that it's set up. But the simplest way really to look at this is to ask yourself, like, how close is this to the whole food, or to like the natural way that this food is out in the world, okay, before it actually gets to the grocery store. So like, for instance, with an apple, you could have an apple, you could have applesauce, or you could have apple juice, right? And so apple juice is the farthest away from the natural form of the apple. So the better option from the apple juice would be like the applesauce. But of course, the best option would be the actual apple. So that's one way. If you want to scrap the rest of this episode and not worry about every little thing that I'm going to mention, you can just go to the grocery store and ask yourself, how close is this to the way that this particular food is out in the earth, or the way that it grows, the way that it lives? How close is it to its natural form, right? Because we want more whole foods or foods that are minimally processed. So that's really what you want to look for. Okay, so that's the simplest explanation. So the longer version of this, we're going to take a tour around the grocery store. So I'm going to walk you around my grocery store. And I will say, though, that I do shop at Aldi. I don't know if you have an Aldi in your area. And so this is not my Aldi. Aldi is a little different than regular grocery stores. If you've ever shopped there, you know what I mean. But I'm going to walk you around the regular grocery store that I go to. It's Publix down here in the South. Typically with grocery stores, the outer edges of the grocery stores are going to have most of the healthier options. And now there are some good healthy options on the aisles as well, and we will talk about that. But Typically on the aisles, that's the more processed foods because those are the shelf stable foods, right? But if you think about the outer edge of your grocery store, that tends to be the foods that have to be refrigerated or that will, go rotten or go bad. So that's why there tends to be the healthier options around the perimeter or the outside edges of your grocery store. So we're going to take this tour around the store, and I'm going to assume you have no food allergies and that you are able to just eat all the things. If that's not true for you, just for those things that you may be allergic to or that you can't eat, just ignore what I'm saying for those particular things, okay? So when I first go into my grocery store, I typically make a right. The cash registers are usually to the left, so I go to the right. And really the first thing that I pass are like all of the seasonal items. So like if it's Easter, the Easter candy. If it's New Year's, then they have like the sparkling apple cider, those type of things. So going past that and ignoring that, because that's usually what I do, the first thing that I will have in front of me is the deli. So going into the deli, you want to limit the amounts of deli meats that you are consuming. You really want to focus on meats that are fresh and that are lean and minimally processed. So deli meats usually do not fall in that category. What you can do though is ask the person at the deli counter, which of the options for the deli meats are leaner options. And again, I'm not saying don't ever have it. I'm just saying limit your consumption of the deli meats. But one of the great things that the deli does have is they have olives over there in the deli, and they have aged cheeses usually in the deli as well. And so the cheeses are going to be a better option over like the highly processed plastic wrapped cheeses over in the dairy section. So maybe you can consider getting some of those instead of the other cheeses. And also in my deli, they usually have some prepared foods. So they will have sandwiches. Again, that's deli meat, so we want to limit our consumption of that. But they will also have like usually some chicken prepared. And so there's fried chicken, and then they will also have rotisserie chicken. And so I would suggest having the rotisserie chicken over the fried chicken. And again, doesn't mean you can never have fried chicken, but you want to have like the baked or rotisserie chicken more often than the fried. And so when I go past my deli, I run straight into produce. That's the next section for me. So over in the produce section, you can kind of go ham over in this section, okay? So you want to get a variety of vegetables. So basically with the nutrition coaching, we're going to say like eat the rainbow of vegetables, right? You want to have a variety of colorful vegetables because you're going to get like different nutrients and different health benefits from the different categories. So you want to have some tomatoes. Yes, I know technically that's a fruit, but we tend to call it a veggie. So you want to have some tomatoes, radishes, maybe some beets. In the purple category, maybe you have purple cabbage or some eggplant. For orange veggies, some carrots or some orange bell peppers. For yellow, maybe you're getting some summer squash. In the green category, you might want to grab some lettuce or broccoli, cucumbers, green beans. There's a lot of green veggies that you can grab from that green category. And then of course with whites, there's cauliflower, mushrooms, onions, garlic. So really think about eating a variety of colors of veggies because like I said, you're going to get different nutrients and different health benefits from the different colored veggies. And same thing with the fruits. Grab a variety of fruits. And like I mentioned before, you want to focus on having like the whole fruit as opposed to having fruit juices. So really grab a variety of fruits. Maybe try some fruit that you haven't tried before. And you may find that there's a new fruit that you like. So grab a variety of veggies and fruits while you're over in the produce section. Also, over in the produce, if you want to try some tempeh or some tofu, that's a great way to get some protein in as well. Usually you can find that in the refrigerated part of the produce section, so that would be over there. And in my produce section, they also have like the nuts and the seeds in that section. So you might want to grab some seeds like chia, flax, hemp, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds. Those are great for like sprinkling on top of your salads to add a little bit of flavor and add some more health benefits. You could also grab some nuts like some cashews, pistachios, almonds, pecans, or peanuts. And you want to grab those things over the trail mix that is also over in that section. So focus on the plain nuts over getting like the flavored nuts or the trail mix. And so after I leave my produce, the next thing I run into is the bakery. Now, this used to be a problem section for me. Every time I would go to my grocery store, I would grab a piece of cake, and I was pretty much going every day, so I was having that cake every day. Thankfully, I don't have that problem anymore, but it was a problem for me at one point. But over in the bakery, you want to choose whole grain breads over like any white breads, or if they have whole grain buns and whole grain bagels over like the white buns or the white bagels. Those are going to be your best option over in the bakery. And also you might want to consider grabbing a sprouted grain bread. Now that's actually over in the frozen section, but just as another option if you want to try that over white bread, sprouted grain bread is another great option for bread. And as we go past the bakery, that is where we run into the meat section. And so you want to consider like limiting the amount of red meat that you're eating. So what I would suggest is just maybe not having red meat every day. Okay. And when you do have it, choose a leaner beef over a higher fat beef, right? So if you're going to get ground beef, look for one that has a smaller percentage of fat on the label than one that has a higher percentage of fat. And if it's some other cut of beef and you're not sure which one is leaner over a higher fat option, then you can ask your person at the meat counter and they'll be more than happy to help you and let you know which are some of the leaner beef options. So since we're limiting the red meat and trying to not have it every day, some other options would be like fish, shellfish, chicken, turkey, some lean pork. Okay. And those are going to be also better options than getting like the bacon or the sausage as well, because those again are higher fat options. So you want to focus more on fresh, leaner meats than processed meats or meats with a higher fat content. So as we go down past the meat section, then we run into our dairy section. In the dairy section, that's usually where the eggs are. So you can grab some eggs and some egg whites. That's going to be a great protein option for you. If you're looking at the yogurts, plain Greek yogurt will be a great protein option for you as well. If you want to get some other yogurt, it's better to get the plain yogurt over the flavored yogurt. You can always just add some fresh fruit into the plain yogurt, or you can even get some frozen fruit from the frozen section and add that to your yogurt as well. So that's going to be a better option than grabbing like the flavored fruity yogurts. If you like cottage cheese, you can get cultured cottage cheese, which would be better than the uncultured cottage cheese. And like I mentioned before, as far as cheeses, it's better to get like the aged cheese than that highly processed cheese that's typically over in the cheese section. But if you do want to get some cheese from over in that section, then it's better to get a block cheese over some of the shredded options. Because what tends to happen is with the shredded cheeses, some of the brands, they will put a coating on the shreds so that they don't stick together in the packages. And so it's better if you just go ahead and grab a block of cheese and then shred it yourself at home. So as we're going through the dairy section, we are going to run into the frozen section. So if you know that fresh fruits and veggies are probably going to spoil or get rotten before you have a chance to eat them all, then grabbing the frozen option is a great choice as well. And the frozen option's typically going to be better than the canned option. So whatever fruits and veggies you need to grab from the frozen section, go ahead and do that. Also, if you want to grab some edamame, that's a great protein option. Usually that's over in the frozen section as well. Now, obviously we're over in the frozen section, so that means there's going to be some ice cream over here. And I would suggest maybe looking for a frozen yogurt option of the flavor that you really like over the regular option. Also in this section are like frozen pizzas. And so with frozen pizzas, you could go for a thin crust over the regular crust. And also maybe you're looking for one with veggies on it. Or if you don't want veggies, then maybe you're just having one meat. So maybe just a thin crust pizza with pepperoni instead of like a traditional crust pizza with the super supreme meat lovers option, right? So maybe just one meat, or maybe it's got one meat and veggies on it. That's going to be your better option for the pizza. And then as far as the convenience meals, I understand that sometimes you just want to grab something quick that you can throw in the microwave, or maybe you want something quick that you can take to work and throw it in the microwave at work during lunchtime. Just be aware that a lot of the convenience meals over in the frozen section tend to be really high in sodium. So just limit the amount that you're eating of those every week. Okay, and so we've gone all the way around the perimeter of the store, and we haven't really gone much in the aisles in the middle. So like I mentioned, this is where most of the highly processed food tends to be, but there are some healthier options on the aisles as well. Like you're going to find your lentils and your beans on the aisles in the middle of the store. So you definitely want to grab yourself some of those. If you like rice, then maybe instead of white rice, you're grabbing like a whole grain or brown rice, wild rice, quinoa, something like that instead of the white rice. If you are grabbing a pasta, look for the whole grain version of the pasta instead of the regular version. If you are looking at grabbing some tuna, then you want to grab the canned tuna that's in water and not the canned tuna that's in oil. The canned tuna in the water is going to be a better option. If you're on the cereal aisle and you're looking to grab some oatmeal, well, consider getting like the steel cut, rolled, or the old-fashioned oats over grabbing the instant oatmeal. Okay, that's just going to be a healthier option. If you're needing to grab some oils, then extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil is going to be a better option than your vegetable oil, canola oil, or shortening. Okay. And then as far as the other aisles, you want to limit the amount of soda, candy, cookies, chips, etc. that you're getting from the other aisles in the store. So that was just kind of walking you around the store a little bit and giving you some healthier options that you can add to your grocery list and that you can put into your cart the next time you go to the store. And when you get nutrition coaching with me, you will get a nutrition guide. I don't do meal plans because I want you to be able to eat what you want, but you will get a nutrition guide, and it kind of goes over what I just mentioned right here, but it also lays out for you which of these foods fall into which category. Remember when we talked about the hand portions back in part 2 of this series? Well, it will break down like which of these foods fall into like the protein category, which falls into the carbs, which falls into the veggie category or the fat category. And it will break it down for you that way, and then also let you know to eat more of this, eat less of this, eat some of this. Right? So it's giving you suggestions from the different categories of maybe what you want to eat more or less of, just so that you can start to build that healthier lifestyle and those healthier eating habits. So your homework for this week is going to be to pick one area in the grocery store that you're going to focus on. And I want you to swap out one thing that I mentioned for the next month. Okay. And the reason I'm telling you to do this for a month instead of like 1 week or 2 weeks is because I want you to really give yourself time to decide if you actually like this thing or not. So for instance, if you're going to have brown rice instead of white rice, I want you to give yourself time and give your palate time to adjust and really figure out, do I actually like this brown rice or not? I know for me, when I switched to skim milk a long time ago. Skim milk used to be disgusting to me, right? But I gradually went down to a lower percentage of milk. Like, you go from like the regular milk and then down to 2%, then 1%, then half. And then eventually I went down to skim milk, and it gave my palate time to adjust to the point that I actually like skim milk now. And if I try to have a higher fat version of milk, I actually don't like those versions. So I really want you to give yourself time to adjust to the new food. Again, just pick one area of the grocery store and swap out one thing at a time from that particular area, and just really give yourself a chance to figure out whether you like it or not. And that's just going to be a step forward for you to reaching your weight loss goal. And it's also going to be a step forward to building that healthier habit. All right. I hope that was helpful. So that was part 4 of the How to Lose Weight in 90 Days and Keep It Off series. So make sure you don't miss next week's episode. It's going to be really key for you in moving forward towards your weight loss goals. I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you got any value out of this or something just really resonated with you, can you do me a favor and leave a review? It helps others find the show so that it could help them too. Also, I'd love to connect with you on other platforms. I'm Malaika Burley on IG and YouTube. And go grab my free webinar, The 5 Keys to Simple, Successful, and Sustainable Weight Loss at malaikaburley.com. And of course, all of those links are in the show notes. Thanks again and have a blessed day.